I'm Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. If you happen to be watching on YouTube, I'm glad you're here. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Today's episode, I'm asking you a question. Are you asking the right questions? Are you ready? Let's get started. Questions are powerful. Our decisions start with questions. Our actions start with questions. And since those are both true, we've got to make sure we're asking ourselves the right questions in front of those decisions and actions. And so how do we make sure that we're asking the right questions? Well, here are 4 things to help you think about that. First one is, does your question make assumptions? Sometimes we make assumptions in our questions that lead us down a path before we even are really investigating. Make sure that your questions aren't making assumptions inside of them. Second, is your question neutral? Is there judgment involved? Do you already have bias associated with it? Make sure that you have neutrality to your questions when you start. Does your question make things clearer? Like, questions should help us clarify where we're headed, clarify the point, and so make sure that our questions are clear enough. If our questions are muddled, our decisions might be misinformed. And lastly, how open-ended is your question? Like, the whole thing is, do you want to do this or this? That is a false choice, perhaps. Maybe A or B isn't the right answer. Maybe C is the right answer. Or maybe doing A and B is the right answer. So make sure that your question is open-ended enough so you're not putting yourself right down to a false choice, perhaps. So those are 4 things that you can do to help you make sure you're asking better questions. And so I wrote a short poem to help you remember this and perhaps to make you smile. And here is my poem. Asking the right questions is the key we hold to unlocking choices and futures untold. In making decisions, we'll find our way. With the right questions, we'll seize the day. Let me close with today's tweet. The questions determine the answers. Make sure you are asking the right questions before you start answering and deciding. I hope you found this episode interesting and useful. And if you did, I hope you will subscribe to our podcast if you're not already. That's the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Beyond these sorts of episodes, I also have episodes with experts talking about topics of interest to leaders, both for ourselves and in our role as leaders. The Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Learn more and subscribe. Hope you'll do that. I'll see you next week for another episode of Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast.